So I recently returned from spending a week with my family back east, and it was the first time that my family had been together since my father's death 7 years ago, and half of my family had not seen me since I had ordained. So I didn't have any concerns about going back, but I knew that because of my ordination that I would have to do some things differently, and how to skillfully communicate that with my family without isolating myself or making them feel like they don't know what to do with me when I get there. And also to realize that, I don't know about anybody else's family, but in my family we all have kind of particular roles that we play, and when we get together we all sort of fit right into those roles, and who's the jokester, who's the instigator, who's the provocateur, who's the quiet one that makes everything nice and keeps the waters calmed and things like that. And so I wanted very much to engage with my family and enjoy my time there, but yet to know that because of learning the Dharma and practicing, there were a few other choices that I would have to make that would be different. So it ended up being a lovely trip. For the most part of my family doesn't go much into why are you doing what you're doing. The other part is quite supportive and very kind. But the thing that I had to work on from my side, as far as transforming my mind, is that I had to go into the visit with very clear boundaries on what I could and couldn't do with them. We spent a lot of hours, walking in the woods and sitting and just talking and sharing about each other's lives. But, as far as going to the miniature golf and going to jazz clubs and going out to dinner every night and staying up and watching TV till 11 or 11:30, videos and stuff like that, I had to be really clear that those are things that I wasn't going to be doing with them, and that we would find other things to do. The other thing that was that has been very helpful as far as my Dharma practice, above and beyond being ordained, is that, and I think this may be true for most of us, is that we go into our family relationships with perhaps some expectations, some quite apparent and some not so apparent. And so as I spent the week there with my family, people coming and going, as I was able to watch my mind when situations came up or behaviors came up, that the old thinking of, I wish they weren't like that, and I wish that they were different, and I wish I know where this conversation's going, and to really look at my expectations in regards to my family. That, I think this is about relationships in general, but this is where it plays out for me in a particular way, is to realize that part of the suffering from my side in relationship to my family has been these expectations that continually haunt me, is that I'm waiting for certain members of my family to change, to relate to me differently, to do different things for a living, to relate to their lives in a different way. And it always sets up this state of mind within me that gets irritated and frustrated and disappointed and attached to outcome. And so this is probably the first visit where I worked quite a bit on my mind before I went. And so when I got there and some of the behaviors and some of the situations that were repeating themselves, I had my mind totally clear that this is my family. I love them for who they are. They're doing the best that they can do. And the only person in this entire constellation of family that can change, that I can change, is myself. And that to meet each and every one of my family members where they were to the best of my ability, to let go of the judgmental, critical mind that said that, it would be much better karmically across the board if they would be doing things differently. So letting go of the expectations, being clear about my boundaries of what I could do and not do in my attempts to keep my vows purely, and then also to think of their kindness, think that they are doing the best they can, and that they've been incredibly kind to me as a family throughout my life. And because I was able to keep bringing that up into my mind and keeping my practice schedule every morning and every night, no matter what the family was doing, sleeping in, having a late breakfast, going out, sightseeing, those were the times that I was going to practice, and that kept me very stable and very focused, but yet very open-hearted and very open to whatever was going to arise. So I really was inspired, encouraged to know that my Dharma practice, when it comes to my relationships in my life, that using it as sort of my guiding light brings a lot of clarity and compassion and joy into those relationships, because it brings those relationships into a bigger view in my life, and also to realize that I've had family since beginningless time. This is not the only family that I will have. And for me to use the opportunity to create the causes and conditions not only for my own happiness, but to help them to the best of my ability create the causes and conditions for their own happiness now and in the future. Thank you.